What's up, everyone? I am in California at my mom's little garden here. She has a more impressive collection up front. But I bought this sanseveria cylindrica and it's quite full. So I'm going to go ahead and separate this into maybe 3 plants. We'll see. So let's do it. So here we are. I'm going to take this out of this existing pot, and I have 2 other nursery pots that we've kept from previous plants, and I'm going to put them in here because they're all the same. So, and maybe these are too big for once the plants have been separated into individuals. However, this is a sanseveria, and sanseverias are just like bulletproof plants, so I think it'll be fine. Let's go for it. I'm gonna break up this, and I'm already like squeezing on this, and I can feel like this plant is really trying to bust out of this already. So I think by giving it some space, it's gonna be a good thing for this plant. You feel the offshoots already protruding through the plastic container. But I think maybe sanseverias are one of those plants that prefer to be root bound, but you can see there's some offshoots there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock off a lot of this soil to see how many plants we're looking at and see if I can separate them and give them nice full ones. Okay, so here we go. Let's knock off the soil. Be kind of aggressive with it. You know, you want to be able to free up the different offshoots and the plants and everything, but so you're going to have some breakage, so that's okay. But you don't want to be too aggressive to the point where you're breaking off a bunch of roots or anything like that, because that's just going to shock the plant even more. So just be like a medium aggressiveness, you know what I mean? So, and be very intuitive with it. You know, some plants, you can tell a plant can take a little bit of a beating, especially a sanseveria. You know, they're just so hardy. And like even when I'm doing this, I'm seeing a lot of the offshoots kind of already lean off of the main plant, so that's a good thing. As you break off the soil, you can just already tell like what's going to come off from the main plant. So just keep working around and get yourself into it, okay? All right, update. I have separated a lot of the different bundles, and we have had a few casualties, which isn't a big deal. So I'm going to show you guys what I've separated so far. So we've got a good few bunches that have kind of all been entangled together. Like I said, sanseverias are like bulletproof plants, but you still want to give it the respect that it needs, you know, as a plant itself. So there was a couple casualties. Look at this big one, but I think it'll be okay because we've got like some root growth at the edge of this, so I'm hoping that it'll be just fine. And because I mean it just fell off like this. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just gonna put it right in the middle and hope that it doesn't really affect it too much, but we'll see. Okay, so there's that, and there's just a bunch of these. You know, some of them have been rooted together, so I kept them together. Not necessarily this whole bunch, but a couple of them. And then there's a couple, these ones that have been growing. You can see I had a main root here that got cut off, but that's okay because this is such a small plant to support with such a big root, so it'll be just fine. But the ones that have grown to curve like this, I'm not really a fan of. I really just like the straight up, just a very symmetrical, straight look. Not that I'm promoting or saying I'm in favor of anything straight by any means, but this I would prefer to grow more straight up like. So I'm thinking I'm going to put this somewhere in the middle if I can, to try to like retrain the plant to kind of straighten it out, but we'll see if that works. But yeah, so we're going to separate these into 3 different plants total, because I think if I always went a little bit less than that, it'll be too bare, and I have a couple friends that I want to give it to, so I can't just do 2 because then there's only 1 friend. So let's get started. All right, so I realized that the soil that I was using would be highly moisture retentive, which meaning that a lot of times when you get potting soil, it's just like Miracle-Gro, whatever, generic potting mix. And although this is great stuff, each plant's different and would prefer certain drainage levels, and I don't feel like this potting mix as you buy it has enough of drainage in it. And when I say that, get a sample of the soil here. You want to look at the soil and see how much of the mixture is what. So like for this example, you can see it has hardly any perlite or the white pieces in the soil, because that's the stuff that's going to give it the most drainage. So because it's lacking that, it's going to be more moisture retentive. And I'm pretty sure I might say this on here as well. It doesn't. But anyways, yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So whenever I was potting it, I was like, wow, this is going to hold on to a lot of water, which would be detrimental to plants because of root rot and because most people like to overwater their plants. But my mom just so happens to have a sand pit in the front of her yard, so I went ahead and did kind of like a rough measurement of like some of the potting mix and then some sand. This is the sand here. Just organic like beach sand consistency, and what that's gonna do, you know what I'm trying to say. It's gonna allow the mixture of the two of them together to have a little bit more drainage in it, because the sand won't hold on to the water as much, and that'll just allow the plant to have more drainage through itself. So this is the first one that I've potted up. Decent sized plant for, what is this, a 6-inch pot? Decent sized plant, you know. And then I think I'm going to use some plant twine and maybe tie it up here so that we can retrain some of those original spikes to grow more upright. So like I said, I prefer the more symmetrical, upright look. So we're going to try to do that, you know. So that's one. 2 more to go. Also, I have my sister's dog, Kai, here. Kai, come here. Come here. Come here. Helping me out. Kai, come here. Come here, baby. This is her. So sweet, helping me, taking a look at the garden and keeping me company out here. She had a boo-boo, so she's got a little vest on, but she's a little sweet thing. She's a Shih Tzu and miniature dachshund mix. So, but yeah, on to plant number 2. See you in a bit. Alright, so plant number 2 is done. This is the look of this one. I mean, I'm sure it looks the same as the first one, but here it is. Now, I did some of the mixture of sand and potting mix into this pot, but when I made it, it seems has more of a sand consistency. So I kind of did alternating layers of the original potting mix that the original plant was in. That when I separated all of these bundles out of, I used that existing soil because I don't want it to shock the plant too much. So I did that, a layer of this, a layer of regular, back to this more layer of regular potting mix stuff. And when you water your plants, all your soils are just going to get mixed together anyways. So, and like I said, sanseverias are bulletproof plants that I like to say. So I'm hoping that they will be just fine. And I like to remind people, when I first started getting into plants, I just bought potting mix, but I did not read, I didn't do any research. All it was peat moss. Straight peat moss, nothing in it, and I just thought that that was okay. And for a while my plants were struggling. My avocado that you can see in a previous video just had peat moss stuff in it. So I'm surprised my plants have stayed with me this long. But yeah, so this is going to be more of a soil mixture. My dog's choking. She's alright though. So that's the second one. And I think this one, I'm going to go ahead and pot this one, this third bundle with you guys so you can understand what it is. So I left the original soil from the very first plant in here as the base, just because it has good texture, it's got good nutrients in there still, and it doesn't shock the plant too much. So what I'm going to do to that is going to add some of the soil and sand mixture to it. It's a nice layer, maybe 1 or 1.5 inches maybe. Pat that down. Then we get my bundle right here. And I'm just going to stick it right in the center. fix any of the ones that are growing obviously more lateral wise. I'm going to try to position them so that they can be in the middle or in some fashion that they will grow more upright. So I think this one, however, is just going to have to be kind of forced to grow. This is like in my mouth. This will just have to be forced upright with some plant twine, which I will show you guys later. I didn't realize how informational this video is going to be, and I'm hoping I'm giving you guys right information. This is just stuff that I've learned from YouTube, from Plantarina, from Summer Rain Oaks, from who else? Nick Pileggi, who's out in Philadelphia. And I think right now, especially during a time like this, it's really nice for me to like kind of just be in a space with my plants, you know, and just kind of like not forgetting about the world, but just like kind of grounding myself to like what is happening, you know. And I think, oh no, we'll be right back. All right, here is my finished product. First one, all tied up, so it should grow pretty straight. This one is like a lost cause, I think. I don't want to stress this out by bending it too much because I think it'll just snap anyways. So we'll see what the plant wants to do with it. It'll push it out or something. I could just snip it if I wanted to, but we'll see. So that one's cute, right? Next one, this one's actually going really straight, so I really didn't have to do too much, just more at the base. You know, I just wanted to keep it really tight down there. So this one's growing great, so that's cool. Rock on. Hang 10, whatever that means. And then this is my last one. I wanted to keep the base pretty tight, and it started fraying out a little bit at the top, so I went ahead and tied that up here as well. So, yeah. Also, fun fact, I realized that whether my Google search came out accurate or not, that plants can photosynthesize from any part of the plant that is green. So I thought it was just leaves that photosynthesize, but I guess the stems can photosynthesize as well. So if anybody wants to confirm or deny that, that'd be great. But yeah, so I'm really excited about these plants. I don't know how much I'm going to sell the other ones for, but if anybody's interested, let me know. Have a great day.